On this episode of Brokers Open Podcast, we talk about how you can close more transactions by collaborating on your favorite social media platforms. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Brokers Open Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the Doctor of Flow. I am here as usual with the big guy himself, Matt Vine. What's up, Matt?
Man, just living the dream. Yes, I know we're going to be talking about the dream one of these days.
I'm not gonna say. I wasn't gonna say anything about it this time. I was gonna say what's he gonna say?
I love it.
Well, guys, usually I ask man, what's the topic today? But I'm actually bringing a surprise topic to Matt, and so we'll get some really cool insights from him on something that we've been talking a lot about in our masterminds.
Yep.
And at the same time, things that I'm like, man, I think we could really provide a lot of value to the listeners. So specifically today, what we're going to be talking about is partnering and collaborating on social media.
Yep.
Now, that being said, that's a big topic, right? And so I've got a few questions that I'll ask along the way. But before I get started, don't forget to go down to the links in the description below and check out BOP Live. It's our free mastermind we do every Thursday that I was just talking about. And we'd love to see you there. And we talk about how to grow a real estate business. So, Matt, right? We partner and collaborate on a lot of stuff.
We do.
Yeah. And so,
including the Wheel of Death, Ben.
That's true. The Wheel of Death. If you don't know what that is, I'm not even going to tell you.
That's
Come
right.
to BOP Live on Thursdays. Your name will be on it.
Don't be scared to come, but just show up.
Yeah, it's not like a Ouija board or anything.
That's right.
You want to win the Wheel of Death at BOP Live. So, Matt, when we're talking about collaborating and partnering in business, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we're collaborating and partnering online, social media, that's another. But some of those principles still overlap because you want to partner with people that are like-minded.
Correct.
In either of those. My first question to you is: if I'm an agent and I want to find some people that I can do some cross promotions with, I can partner with, collaborate. Who am I looking for, right? Like, am I going to the local pizza place that the line's out the door every time?
Maybe.
Am I going the obvious thing? Like, am I going to a lender? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so of course it can be both of those.
Right.
But the key thing is, who is it that, and you kind of touched on this, who is it that does their business the same way that you do? Okay. Now everybody thinks real estate and they think, okay, I should be collaborating with the lender. Well, if all the lenders that you know are jerks and you're not a jerk, don't go collaborate with the lenders.
Right.
Because then you're going to hand your clients over and they're going to think that there's guilt by association. Birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
Right.
If you are a jerk, do you collaborate with nice lenders?
Way to throw a reciprocal question at me. The answer is still no. So, but what you want to do is you want to find people who look at their community the same way you look at your community. That's the key thing. You want to make sure that what you're doing is you're talking to people and bringing them into the fold with you the same way, so that when you hand a customer off to someone, when you refer somebody to someone, that you know that they're going to get taken care of, just as if you were the guy flipping the pizzas, just as if you were the lender, just as if you were the person that is doing the insurance or whatever else it is that you're doing in that transaction. You want to make sure that whoever you're referring to, you're collaborating with, you're working side by side with, that they're going to treat your clients the same way that you would, given the circumstances that you were in their role, right? Yeah. So that's a key point on it. Now, do you want to keep it centered around a real estate transaction? Absolutely, you want to keep it centered around a real estate transaction. You want to do that for sure, but that doesn't mean that's the only place it has to be. Think community more than you think transactional.
Yeah, I like that. So a lot of times people will think, oh, community is like my neighborhood.
Right.
Like, define community there for us for a second.
Yeah, gathering of like-minded individuals who are concerned the most about helping each other. So here's community. This is the best description I've had of community. I know you know where I'm going with this, right? So our buddy Frank Hagan, right? So there was an anthropologist that kind of came up with a description of when community first began with humanity. Okay, and what the anthropologist was basically saying is, when the first person broke their femur, doing the dinosaur chasing or whatever they were doing back in the day, and they broke their femur, and everybody else didn't go, okay, Bob, well, I'll see you later, tough luck, right? And leave them there to die. Peace. When they said, you know what, we're going to take care of Bob, because Bob's taking care of us, or because we have that connection with him. We're going to carry him where we need to carry him. We're going to let him heal. We're going to hunt and gather for him while he gets better. That was the first time that community really landed, for lack of a better way of putting it. Yeah. That's when community came home, right? And so what does that boil down to? It boils down to a group of people that care about what's best for everyone else that's involved in the community. That's what it's really about. And so your community doesn't have to be your neighbors. Maybe you don't get along with your neighbors since that fence incident.
You might be a jerk.
That's right. Could be that jerk lender, or it could be that jerk agent that we talked about just a minute ago. But the big picture is it could be a bunch of people that you're connected with just a certain way, right? So my son played soccer, so there was a community of parents and families that just kind of hung out to the kids, because that's what it was. Your kids play golf, right? It's that community of people. That's who you're connected with. And so when we talk about, oh, is it the pizza guy or is it the lender? Well, the people that you play golf with, right? If there's attorneys and there's dentists and there's all of these other people that you hang out with, that becomes your community. Those are the ones that you know are going to take care of the people that you refer a certain way. That's what we mean by community. That's really what we're trying to establish.
Yeah, and that's what you mean by like-minded too.
Yes.
Is you talk golf or you talk soccer, and you brought golf into it, and it could be anything from pottery to stamp collecting, whatever. It doesn't have to be a hobby.
Correct. But
I think sometimes when people are thinking like-minded, they think, well, it has to be real estate.
Right.
It has to be real estate. The thing that connects us all has to be real estate.
Right.
Whereas oftentimes, if we really look at our sphere of influence and where we get our referrals from and that kind of thing, those people typically aren't real estate related.
Right.
Right. They're in other places.
Yeah. And let me point something. Let me point something out. So there are people that whenever they do the real estate part of their job, right? They look at it a way differently than how they look at the person they are at home, right? Maybe the person they are at home is just a real relaxed, laid-back person, but when it comes time to do real estate, man, they're all about the checklist. Everything has to go exactly the way it's supposed to, all that kind of stuff, right? So who they are at work, if the only community they have are the people that are at work, that community might refer to them still, but they're not going to be connected any deeper than just a transaction.
Yeah.
So who you really want in your community are those people who you really are, because they're going to know that you care about other people just like them. That's who they want to hand that off to. Remember, a referral is an extension of a reputation.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to get somebody to trust us with that is if they feel like they know who they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And so that's what we really want to pay attention to when we're talking about developing community.
Yeah. And so my next question is, now we have an idea of this is who we want to collaborate with, and we can make that list of, these are the connections that I know, and these are the people that I really get along with and I really click really well with. And, and I know that as long as I keep providing value in their life, they're going to do the same for me. And if, I'm referring them, they're referring me. When we're looking at this from a social media standpoint, it kind of feels like there's a disconnect. Yep. Because you're not necessarily person to person, right? At this point, you're kind of platform to platform. How can you have these like-minded people help you from a social media standpoint? Yeah. So when it comes to social media and you building your community, you're right. It is platform to platform, and what that means is that you're talking to somebody on Facebook through Facebook, and so there's a certain filter or perspective that has to be kept in mind in that situation, and part of that is how distracted are they on that platform. So your messaging in order to build community has to be a very direct message, and it has to be a very authentic message in order for it to get through the way that it needs to get through. So if you're trying to build community, go ahead and use a platform that matches how you look at your community. Instagram is not the same as LinkedIn. LinkedIn's not the same as TikTok. TikTok's not the same as Facebook. So start there. Now, we believe that everybody should be on YouTube to some extent. Okay, yeah. So there's a big part to that we think that people should be on. We think that people should be on YouTube. And the reason why we think that people should be on YouTube is a pretty simple reason. Most of the data shows that the people that go to YouTube go there to learn something, to be educated, to share, right? And so if you're on that platform, keep that in mind whenever you're actually trying to build community on that platform. It needs to be centered around
growth and sharing and helping people, be more educated and figure out how to do things. All of that needs to keep in mind that you're talking platform to platform when you're trying to build your community through whatever those resources are. Does that kind of answer the question that you were asking?
Yep, absolutely. And so my follow-up to that is, all right, well, I've made a post. Okay, well, my dentist friend that I know has made a post. How can he benefit, with me helping him, and I benefit from help, or maybe we come together and we say, hey, let's have a meeting, let's talk about different posts that we can put out or whatever. How can we benefit from the actual the posting of certain things?
Yeah. So what makes a post more valuable is that it, not just from an algorithm standpoint, but what makes a post more valuable is how much reach it has. And if somebody has a big audience, then all they have to do is make that one post and get it out in front of their people, and all of a sudden it has a lot of reach. Honestly, that's not the case with most people. With most people, if they really want the algorithm to pay any attention to whatever it is that they put out there, they're going to have to make sure they get other people to share that post, so that all of a sudden the algorithm believes that that post is a lot more valuable because other people saw it and they put it on their pages, or they push it out to their audience. Okay, that's where the whole idea of a share squad comes in, right? And we talk a lot more about share squad. I think we've got something that if people are tuned in and they stay till the end, we got something free that's going to help them with stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I got something cool for you guys.
Okay, so what a share squad boils down to is you have people that are promising to take the post and information that they're getting and get it out to their audience, so that automatically the algorithm and the platform understands that what you're doing is valuable. So the dentist, as an example, might not really care about homestead exemption on taxes, but if you've made an agreement with him that whenever he puts a post out about molars and molar health, that you're going to post that. And when you put a post out about homestead exemption, he's going to post that. All of a sudden, that's a share squad. And we talk more about that at a different point. Dr. Ben will talk to you about that a little bit later. But that's how you make sure that that's relevant, and that's how you agree to get that out there.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. The share squad's like one of the bigged hacks on social media, period,
absolutely,
because you're essentially sharing each other's audiences. Right. And, I would say before we move further in this, everyone listening, take a second and look back at all of the posts and think about all the posts, or maybe any of the posts if you've never posted or something like that, any posts that you've ever done that are real estate related. That means nothing about like, hey, it's little Johnny's birthday, or you got straight A's or something like that. All the things that were real estate related, and think, how many shares did I get of that?
Right.
I'm willing to bet that it's very minimal.
Right.
And if that's the case, that means, number one, it's telling the algorithm, don't post this and show it to anybody else, because a lot of people don't like it, or aren't very interested in it. But number two, you're not even going to be pushed to the people inside of whether it be a business page and that kind of thing.
Right.
Now, if we look at this and we say, well, what can I do? And Matt just talked about the share squad. That's the key. That's the one concept that I want to make sure everybody understands is those shares are so valuable.
Absolutely.
They're so much more valuable than anything you can imagine, because that is the person who owns that audience saying, this is cool, I'm going to put it on my page. Now, whatever that platform is going to make sure that their followers see it. Because
Absolutely.
They're saying, if he thinks it's cool, these people are probably going to think it's cool. So, again, wrap your brain around that and take a look at how many shares you've had of your real estate stuff and say, gosh, I need to figure out a way of doing that. And I don't want to do it necessarily from a paid standpoint.
Right.
That's a big hack.
Yep.
On top of that, my next question for Matt is, and this may hit home with some people listening. One of the questions that I hear a lot is, well, how do I get so-and-so to help me pay for my ads? Or how do I get so-and-so to pay for my ads? And those are great questions, right? Like you should have opportunities to share in marketing costs for everyone to win and that kind of thing. But my fear in all of that is when that's one of the first questions that I hear,
right,
is like, man, you're kind of missing the social part,
right,
of the media of the media part,
right.
And so if you don't mind, talk about that if you don't mind.
Yeah. So from a big picture standpoint, what it boils down to is it's really all about leverage. You want to make sure that you are offering and you are receiving leverage. This kind of speaks directly to what you were saying just a second ago, but let me say this out loud. I do not know what's in the YouTube algorithm. Let me be crystal clear with that.
Right.
I don't know what's in the Facebook algorithm.
I don't know if anybody knows.
Yeah, I don't, right. 10,000 light switches and you're flicking light switches constantly on the wall, right? I get that. With that being said, I would think that a share is more powerful than a comment or a like.
Yeah.
100%. And the reason why is a comment or a like is one individual interacting with that information. A share is a belief that that information should go to a bunch of other people. Mm-hmm. So it's not about one person, it's about a bunch of people. And so I would think that that's more powerful of the of all of it. That's the more powerful of the two.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the leverage thing for just a second, because that's really the way that I see it. What you were asking just a second ago is really about leverage. Okay, and so how do you make sure that you are leveraging what is best for them and they are leveraging what is best for you through that social platform, right? Once there's a community and you're like-minded with them, and once you're starting to share things and they're starting to share things and they're starting to share things back with you, automatically what that's saying is, hey, this person looks at things the same way that I look at things. Yeah. And you both begin to look not just like you're connected, but you both look like you have shared values as they start to see it. So nobody's going to pay attention the first thing that it pops up, right? So if I share something on my social media that you were on there, and I put something on there and I say, yeah, this, Dr. Ben said this today, and it was a really great point. The people that know me, they see it one time, they don't know who Dr. Ben is maybe, and they're like, you know what, it's no big deal. But now all of a sudden, Dr. Ben's saying smart things on a regular basis, and I'm sharing those on my social media on a regular basis. My audience is now going to reach out to you. They're going to start following you. They're going to start paying attention to you. The same thing is going to happen the other way, as long as I'm putting things out there that are smart and sharp and whatever, right?
100%.
They don't have to be brilliant. They don't have to be holding laughter funny. Yeah. It just needs to be worth absorbing. There's a lot of other content out there that's not worth absorbing. And so if yours is worth absorbing, and keep in mind, the people that are looking at my site, they haven't unfriended me, for lack of a better way of putting it. Yeah. That means there's something that we share from a value standpoint. Not value, but values standpoint. Right? As long as my community, Dr. Ben, is the same way, and I start posting his information and they start going and looking at his information, now that audience trusts both of us. Let's say that I'm doing that with 5 people. And my person that started out just looking at my stuff now is looking at the things that all these other people have that are coming up. They automatically feel like that reputation has been extended to them. That is leverage for all of us. Yeah. That is really what is going to solve the problem about how can I get some more business? How can I drive more business to myself? What post do I need to put out? How do I need to put this, how do I need to, make myself stand out on social media? It solves all of that. Yeah. Because you don't have to say more. You can say the same amount you're saying. It looks like more because you're getting in front of more audience, because now it's being shared 5 times through your share squad. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. And the last thing that I want to ask you is what typically happens with a lot of shiny object things is, okay, I've got my share squad, and this dentist, right? So I used that a second ago. This dentist, I'm sending them a lot of business, or they've told me, yeah, I've gotten a couple referrals. Appreciate that. Or they've, some people said they saw me on your social and that kind of thing. And maybe I haven't gotten any transactions out of it, right? People get their teeth cleaned more often than they sell than they sell their house, right? It's basically
some people.
Some people. Hopefully you do,
right?
But that's the premise. Is, well, I haven't gotten a closing out of it, or is it still worth me? Do I need to find a new dentist? Right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, talk to a little bit about that, and then I'll share some cool things with the audience.
Yeah, don't leave it up to chance. Okay, just have the conversation with somebody. So the part of the fundamental piece of a share squad is you're going to ask them, hey, are you willing to work closely with me to help grow both of our businesses. I've got some leverage that I want to share with you. You've got some leverage that I'm hoping you want to share with me. You need to have that conversation on the front end. Don't leave it up to chance. Don't just say, you know what, Dr. Ben cleans my teeth. Well, I know that it's not the kind of doctor Dr. Ben is, but Dr. Ben cleans my teeth. So I'm going to send everybody to him because we have fun when our kids play golf together.
Yeah.
Dr. Ben's wife might be a real estate agent. And I'm not saying don't work with Dr. Ben because of that, but I'm saying don't be upset if Dr. Ben isn't sending you referrals.
Yeah.
So have the conversation on the front end. How do you have the conversation? We actually go in depth on how to have the conversation. I think you're going to touch on that in a second.
Yep.
But here's the big picture. Talk to them and say, hey, listen, I'm focusing on growing my business. It seems like you're focusing on growing your business as well. And I wanted to ask if you have a relationship with a real estate agent that would get in the way of us being able to refer business back and forth to each other. It's that simple. Now there's a more concise script and there's a way to handle it and all that kind of stuff, which you'll talk about in just a second. But that's the big picture. Ask the question. If you don't want to ask the question, if you're scared to ask the question, I'm going to tell you to get over it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if you're scared to ask the question, that's fine. But don't be upset when you're referring to them and they're not referring to you because they just don't know that expectation. Leverage is only going to work if the fulcrum is in the right place. You cannot get leverage without the fulcrum.
Yep.
The fulcrum is asking for that opportunity to do business together.
Yeah.
If you want that leverage that you can get from social media and having community, if you want all of that, then you have to put the fulcrum in place. That means having that conversation.
Yeah. We brought physics into this.
Physics.
With fulcrums and levers and levers and
Ben's
pulleys.
probably got a degree in that too. Ben's got about 12 degrees in case y'all don't know that.
So we're not going to go into physics in what I'm getting ready to tell you, which is on our mastermind, BOP Live, we did this 4-part series that was all about social media. And we've taken all that information. We've turned that into a course. It's absolutely free. I would love to offer it to all of our listeners. There's a link in the description below. Go down there, register for it. Check it out. Take the course. There's going to be so much in there that's going to help you grow your business from a social media standpoint. And beyond that, you get to hear me and Matt talk a little bit more.
Yep.
Right? Nothing wrong with that.
Nope, absolutely not.
Nothing wrong with that unless you don't like country voices like mine. But
then
Matt,
why y'all here?
Come on, man! Don't make me start throwing bows. And so, Matt, anything else that you want to add before I put a little bow on it?
No, I think it's all time for you to put it on there, Bo.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, guys, we appreciate you being here and listening. Make sure you check out those cool things. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. That would help us absolutely a ton. And don't forget the Brokers Open podcast, powered by Prime Real Estate Coaching. It's not just about opening the door to more opportunities. It's about closing more transactions.